Well, mother of Moses, what a game that was. Kilmacud Crokes are Dublin Senior Hurling champions for 2021. They have beaten Na Fianna by a scoreline of 426 to 225. This is the live match reaction to the game where I break down the game, give my thoughts on the game, and discuss all the big talking points. If you're new around here, first of all, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, I would kindly appreciate it. I drop a number of match reactions similar to this one after a number of big games, and certainly there'll be a number of match reactions out tomorrow with a whole host of club action tomorrow, absolutely no doubt about it. But Kilmacud Crokes versus Na Fianna, what a game of hurling. What an advertisement of hurling this was. I mean, this was as good as a game as you will see in hurling, in senior hurling in 2021. I mean, this was the best game I think I've seen in hurling for a long, long time. I mean, sometimes in hurling, things can get a bit overcomplicated. Things can get complicated. Things can be a bit too overly tactical. We see this sometimes in football, and we've seen this now a lot in hurling over the past couple of years. Things, coaches sometimes can make things a bit too complicated. Managers can make things a bit too complicated. And I believe Dereck once referred to it as constipated hurling. Now, I won't go as far as that, and we certainly won't delve into that matter of subject, but this was anything but that. I mean, this was unbelievable stuff from minute one up until minute 90, I suppose, with the fact that this game went to extra time, or minute 80, I should say, actually, with the fact that this game went to extra time. I mean, both sides were going toe-to-toe, end-to-end, rip-roaring hurling. There was nothing, overly tactical about this game. I mean, this was just breathtaking from the very first minute, and the pace that was set by both of these sides was absolutely incredible. Na Fianna, they dominated for the opening 50 minutes of this game. They looked like they were home and hosed. They looked like they were going to be the side to win this Dublin Senior Hurling Championship title. And of course, their very first Dublin Senior Hurling Championship title. They were leading by 9 points after Donald Burke's goal on the 51st minute. And you thought Kilmacud, up until that point, looked a bit flat. They didn't really get out of third gear. They certainly weren't playing at their best. I think largely it was down to the work that Na Fianna done defensively. I thought Liam Rush and Kevin Burke in particular were absolutely brilliant. Kevin Burke, who I believe was picking up Ronan Hayes for the majority of the game, I thought done phenomenal in the first half. And Kilmacud just couldn't really settle into the game. They couldn't really find any flow in the game. But from that moment on, from the 51st minute onwards, Kilmacud absolutely dominated. They outscored Na Fianna 3-9 to 2 points from the 51st minute onwards to the end of extra time. I mean, that's an utter demolishing in many ways. Like Kilmacud, not only did they come back and complete this comeback, they came back and won the game very, very comfortably. And you have to commend Ronan Hayes, in my opinion. Like, what an unbelievable performance in the end from him, and what a tremendous amount of character, leadership, guts to deliver that performance in extra time and get that goal in the last minute of injury time. I mean, he missed the penalty late on in the game when Kilmacud were obviously chasing the game. He missed the penalty, by some distance. He absolutely skied it, never got hold of it. It completely went wide by a considerable distance. And he missed another chance just moments later, a very scoreable chance over on the left-hand side certainly from his standards. You'd expect that to go over the bar. And you were thinking it's just not going to be Kilmacud Crokes' day. It's not going to be Ronan Hayes' day. But he gets that chance late on in injury time. He buries it. And in extra time, he was phenomenal as well. He scored 6 points in extra time. He actually scored 1-8 from the 51st minute onwards until the end of extra time. Like, that is an extraordinary performance for him. And for me, he was the man of the match. I don't even think he was poor necessarily in the first half or the second half or anything like that. I just think Kevin Burke done a tremendous job. And I think Na Fianna were doing a great job with the ball. And they were doing a great job defensively. And Ronan Hayes struggled to get into the game. But he dropped just a little bit deeper from what I could see late on in the second half. And you could see when he had the ball and he was driving at Na Fianna late on, he was absolutely brilliant, no doubt about it. And what a game this was, like from the absolute get-go. Na Fianna hitting 2 points early on. Kilmacud Crokes came back with 2 points. Kilmacud Crokes get themselves a goal with Alex Considine. And it was Ronan Hayes who actually done some brilliant work over on the right-hand side. He caught the long ball. He created a bit of space, got away from his man, hit it on to Alex Considine, who then comfortably dispatched it past John O'Tracy. And you were thinking from that point with Kilmacud's experience, they might kick on from here after a good start from Na Fianna, but that wasn't the case. Na Fianna get themselves a penalty. Donald Burke, he dispatches that absolutely brilliantly. And towards the end of the first half, it was, end to end. Both sides were scoring some brilliant points. You've seen Fergal Whiteley hit a couple of brilliant points. Dara Purcell for Kilmacud as well. Sean Curry, who was probably man of the match in most people's eyes, really, up until extra time. If Na Fianna had seen this game out, I think he would have won man of the match, absolutely no doubt about it. He scored 8 points, 7 of which were from play, and he was phenomenal. And certainly for Matty Kenny, whether he was at the game or whether he was watching this at home with a bottle of wine and his feet up, I'm sure he'd be looking at his performance and thinking that's a player that could easily come into the seniors next year. Surely he's definitely put his hand up and he's definitely in contention. He was brilliant. He hit some wonderful scores in the first half and in the second half as well. Michael Murphy, a late change. He done a lot of work in around the middle. He was brilliant, I thought, early in the second half and especially in the first half. And like Na Fianna's running game was just so impressive. The way they would play it from side to side, they would break with pace. They showed some amount of energy for that opening 15 minutes. Donald Burke was brilliant as well. He obviously gets Na Fianna's second goal. Brilliant bit of play, and Donald Burke over on the left-hand side, just a scooped finish really past the Kilmacud goalkeeper. And from there, you were thinking surely Na Fianna are going to dominate and win this game. Like, they were winning so much ball. Liam Rush was getting on the majority of Kilmacud's puck-outs. He was winning a lot of ball in and around Kilmacud's half-forward line. He was doing brilliant, and you just didn't see how Kilmacud could turn it around from that moment in time, from like the final 9 minutes. You just didn't see how they could turn it around. You just didn't, because like what I said before, Na Fianna were very, very comfortable up until that point. And you knew Kilmacud were going to have a late push, because that's what we see in most, games of hurling, football, most sports, where a team is down by whatever amount of scores. And obviously they throw the kitchen sink, they throw everything at it. And Kilmacud just got so much joy charging at Na Fianna in the closing stages. And was it nerves for Na Fianna? The fact that they've never won a Dublin Senior Hurling Championship title. Certainly their game plan, their running game seemed to go a little bit out the window. Some of their passes started going astray. They looked leggy. And in particular, one sort of moment that I suppose you could say capitulated that, I don't even know if that's a word, or I'm thinking of a different word, but my words aren't coming to me right now, was when Mark Howard had that opportunity to hit the post, and it fell to, I think it was Kevin Burke and one of the other Na Fianna defenders. They needed to get their head up quicker. The ball was there in front of them. Get your head up, clear it, pick out a man in front of you, and then go on from there, or at least run out with the ball. They dilly-dallied on the ball. Oisin O'Rourke was there to pounce on the loose ball. He dispatched it comfortably, put the ball home. That was Kilmacud Crokes' third goal in the game. And that was the turning point, because Ronan Hayes had missed the penalty just a couple of moments previously. It was still a 6-point game up until that Oisin O'Rourke goal. And then you realised it was just a one-score game, and all of a sudden Kilmacud Crokes just need one more chance, and Na Fianna are hanging on for their absolute dear life. And yeah, defensively, they just looked very, very leggy in those final couple of minutes. They looked all over the place, really, at the back. They gave some amount of energy for the first 50 minutes. I mean, it was an unbelievable performance for the first 50 minutes. They just couldn't see out those final 10 minutes. They just couldn't see out those final 10 minutes. And a couple of chances going astray, a couple of passes going astray. You see Donald Burke miss a couple of opportunities. You see Sean Curry miss 1 or 2 chances that he would have been scoring previously. They were rushing some of their play, and they were allowing Kilmacud to, get into those attacking positions and get into those forward-thinking positions. And as I said before, the fourth goal, wonderful bit of play from Ronan Hayes. He, the right man in the right time to dispatch the goal. Fergal Whiteley done brilliant in the build-up as well, who obviously Fergal Whiteley got the second goal for Kilmacud right after Donald Burke's second goal for Na Fianna. So that was a brilliant finish from Ronan Hayes, sending the game to extra time. And, it's one of them scenarios for Na Fianna where, look, they were 9 points clear. They were obviously devastated going into extra time, no doubt about it. Similar fashion to what happened with Cork and Kilkenny, for example, in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship semi-finals, where Cork had a big lead. Kilkenny came back, of course, in normal time, in injury time, obviously. But, the only difference was Cork reevaluated in that game in extra time, and they stuck to what they were good at, and eventually they won the game. Na Fianna just didn't do that. And whether it was a lack of experience in these big games for a lot of those Dublin players, for a lot of those Na Fianna players, whether it was a lack of experience or the fact that they haven't been there enough. Kilmacud have been there most, they've had a poor enough record in a losing county final since they had last won one since 2014. So maybe that was a case for Na Fianna, that they kind of they just ran out of energy or ran out of ideas, really. And the game plan just didn't work. That running game that they were doing in the first half and early in the second half wasn't working at all. Liam Rush didn't have enough influence. He looked like he tired, and maybe, they could have made a bit of a tactical change late on in the game. And Kilmacud just looked fresher. And one thing I said after the Coola victory for Kilmacud was the level of conditioning in this Kilmacud side, like the energy levels, they just never looked tired whatsoever. And it was the same again in this game. Like, they were outrunning Na Fianna at every moment in the game, going in extra time, and the same again towards the end of normal time. Like, when they clicked into gear, they were absolutely brilliant. And it took them a while. And look, listen, they definitely have a lot to work on going into the Leinster Club Championship. If you have a 9-point deficit against a side like Ballyhale Shamrocks in a potential Leinster Club final, will you turn that game around? I don't think you will. So they have a lot to work on, but this is a huge victory for them. Absolutely, no doubt about it. To come from 9 points down, to be down and out and go on to win the game was just absolutely incredible. It really, really was. And massive congratulations to Kilmacud Crokes for getting the victory. Man of the match for me was Ronan Hayes. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He got the 4th goal. He set up the 1st goal for Kilmacud Crokes. He was a part of the majority of what Kilmacud Crokes done well. And the fact that he misses that penalty, he misses the scoreable chance moments later, and then he has the leadership and the, I suppose, character to turn it around and not let those, because you see this a lot in sports where a big moment happens, and it's like in all walks of life where you make a mistake and you dwell on it and you think about it and then you overthink it and then you make more mistakes. He didn't dwell on it. He didn't think too much about it. You thought that maybe when he missed that scoreable chance after he'd missed the penalty, but like, fair play to him. He gets that goal, and then some of his points in extra time was absolutely brilliant as well. Oisin O'Rourke was brilliant. 1-3. He scored 1-3. Fergal Whiteley, another top class performance from him at 1-1. Caelan Conway was very impressive as well. He finished with 3 points. Dara Purcell certainly had some impressive moments as well. And for Na Fianna, Donald Burke with 2-7, Sean Curry with 8 points in the end, and obviously 7 of which were from play. So yeah, look, listen, this is the match reaction anyways for this game. A huge victory for Kilmacud Crokes. Pádraig Farrelly says they're history makers. Kilmacud Crokes, first ever club to win a county senior final live on RTE TV. I presume you mean the first Dublin county final live on RTE TV. But yeah, that was absolutely huge for Kilmacud Crokes. And look, they'll be the favourites going in against St. Jude's now in the Dublin Senior Football Championship final, no doubt about it. Can they do the double? And how far can Kilmacud Crokes go in the Dublin or in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship? That will be I suppose a question for another day, but I don't think they'll be a million miles away. I mean, you'd probably have Ballyhale ahead of them right now, but they're not a million miles away. And to beat Coola twice this year and now go and beat Na Fianna in the way that they done it, coming back from a 9-point deficit, tremendous amount of character, huge victory for them. And for anyone who's watching live or who tuned in live, I very much appreciate it. If you could leave a like, share this out to your friends and family. And if you are new around here, if you could subscribe, I would kindly appreciate it. It's absolutely free. And yeah, stay tuned for more match reactions coming out tomorrow. I mean, there's a whole host of club games tomorrow. Football, hurling. I mean, tomorrow is going to be a very busy day, no doubt about it. So yeah, cheers very much for anyone who tuned in. And I'll see you all later.